The wicked flee when no one pursues, but the righteous are bold as a lion. Today, that lion is you, according to Proverbs 28:1. The death of an adversary is going to rock the world, and it's not a coincidence. It's divine alignment. It's your confirmation, not your anxiety, that they fall. The walls of victory are being engraved with your name, and the daybreak of plenty is breaking through. You are going to win big very soon, so stand strong, chosen one. Now is your time to take back what is rightfully yours. Now you have the keys to what they were afraid you would discover: their vulnerabilities, their reliance, and their mistakes. These truths are more than simply facts. They are tools of direction and clarity that let you defeat the forces that formerly tried to hold you down. You now have the power to destroy the deception, manipulation, and disinformation they used as control mechanisms. Despite being designed to do damage, these tools clearly demonstrate their waning power. Nothing remains of the power they once thought they had. The darkness they cast over you has vanished. It's gone, along with the weight of their meddling, their manipulation, and their deliberate efforts to keep you chained. You are no longer bound by their plans or troubled by the remnants of their dominance. This is reclaiming not only freedom. Every injury they caused, every instance in which they attempted to cause uncertainty or perplexity, now becomes a scar of strength and evidence of your perseverance. The suffering they inflicted no longer controls your behavior, obscures your judgment, or dims your light. Their once pervasive influence is now shown to be empty and without the authority they claimed. You get a fresh start, and the closure they were trying to deny you with that expose. Now, healing is a reality that you cannot achieve without their intervention. It is no longer a far-off dream. Like a storm bursting into clear sky, clarity appears. The goal you formerly found difficult to understand becomes evident. Now, your path, which was obstructed by their deceit and diversions, extends in front of you with unwavering assurance. You have the freedom to create and mold your life to represent your power and vision, rather than to respond to their disarray. This is your blank canvas, an unblemished foundation free from their corruption, ready for you to shape the future according to your will and authority. You now define yourself, not them. "This is my moment" is a remark that you should leave if you're feeling a sense of divine confirmation. They collapsed because they thought they were untouchable, and their conceit led them to make judgments that were against common sense and common sense. Believing their machinations were perfect and their position unassailable, they overreached, blinded by their hunger for control. Their arrogance proved to be their downfall, much like Icarus's flight too near the sun. Each action they did to increase their authority only served to worsen the fissures in their foundation until they were crushed by the weight of their own plans. They believed they would not face any repercussions, but those who disregard the boundaries of integrity will not be spared by the forces of justice. It was no accident that you were involved in this. Your presence broke the flimsy illusion they had created. Whether you spoke out, revealed a falsehood, or just refused to be swayed by their pressure, while you silently tore down the barriers they depended on, they undervalued you and only saw what they wanted to see. Whether intended or not, every decision and action you took served as a spark to undermine their power. Larger forces were at work beyond your actions. The timing of divine orchestration, the momentum of truth, and the alignment of global justice all came together to guarantee their downfall. It was inevitable that they would fail, regardless of your might or their own conceit. Corruption cannot continue to flourish in the current state of affairs. You belong to a larger stream, a force that worked to bring things back into balance and make the truth visible. They didn't just collapse. They did so because they had founded their empire on lies, and an empire was never supposed to last. Their network as a whole has been rocked by the breakdown of their system. The formerly carefully controlled situation has broken down, with neutral forces entering the fray to tilt the scales, competitors approaching to seize the prizes, and friends frantically securing their own positions. Desperation and ambition collide in the power vacuum they leave behind, and convenient alliances start to fall apart under the strain of self-preservation. New leaders arise from this instability, each attempting to fill the hole with their own goals. Others perceive a chance to completely reconfigure the system, creating lines of loyalty that move like sand in a storm, while others emerge with the goal of reconstructing what was lost. You face both opportunity and peril as a result of these new groups. This is your opportunity to shape the new order and put yourself in a position to affect results that support your goals. But it also calls for alertness. Relics of the corruption they hope to inherit are often carried by those who ascend after collapse. The remains of the defeated foe are equally important. Unpredictable factors include their secrets, secret tools, and even surviving lieutenants. Whether tangible or metaphorical, these remnants of their rule may be used as weapons by those who want to restore what has been lost. They may, however, be tools for destroying what little of their power is left in the correct hands, your hands. This is more than just a disruption. It's a metamorphosis in which everything of their shattered power is either a danger or an opportunity, and it is up to you to decide how to use it. Their passing is a seismic change that affects everything they touched, not just a personal reckoning. To those who previously believed they were invincible, their fall conveys a stark and terrifying message. No castle is impenetrable, and no authority is absolute. This is the caution inscribed on the remains of their empire, a reminder to everyone who sees it that arrogance is always susceptible to justice and the truth, regardless of how well it is concealed. Alliances are reshaped by the vibrations of their collapse, which forces people who formerly held onto their power to look for new bases of influence. Long, seemingly flawless systems reveal weaknesses when political structures buck and realign. Rivals advance. Some are brave because of the chance, while others are wary because of the uncertainty that awaits them. With loyalties changing and new power dynamics arising in their wake, what was once a hierarchy has turned into a dangerous battleground. For those who are wise enough to act decisively in the midst of this turmoil, these upheavals provide both possibilities and hazards. They are more than just changes. You come into sharper focus. In addition to seeing their downfall, the world is also watching you soar above it. Expectation is a result of the emptiness created by their demise. Will you take advantage of this opportunity to reinterpret what power and leadership mean? Where others fail, will you remain resilient, clear-headed, and visionary? Or will you be challenged by the same forces that revealed them? Every action you do today matters, not just for your future, but also for the equilibrium of all that is left. Although you have the option, many others are watching you. The opportunists have emerged from the shadows, taking advantage of the power vacuum left by the fall of their authority. For those who previously worked in silence under their leadership, this is their opportunity to assert their authority and no longer be limited to the positions of subordinates. Now, rivals who were waiting in the wings advance with honed tactics, ready to destroy what little power they still possess. This changing environment, where new alliances are formed as fast as old ones fall apart, draws in even those who were neutral and unconcerned by the previous instability. These ephemeral partnerships are based on convenience rather than trust. Tomorrow, ambition and treachery might cause what seems stable now to crumble. Every new relationship has the potential to provide unforeseen difficulties, so you need to be on your guard. Factions who seem to support your objectives can really have their own agendas, which would constantly challenge your judgment. More than just might will be needed to navigate these dynamics. Accuracy, awareness, and mastery of the delicate stream of power are also necessary. The greatest risk, however, is invisible. Forces more pernicious than those that came before them thrive in the hole created by their demise. While the others fight for position, Hidden enemies, encouraged by the pandemonium, stealthily take control. These forces are more difficult to anticipate and much more difficult to oppose, since they are not subject to the same laws or regulations. In an environment where there are many participants and the stakes are larger, this is no longer a fight against a single foe, but rather a combat of strategy and determination. Their downfall was not unique. It sent shockwaves across worlds, revealing hidden cracks and tearing apart ties of allegiance. The people who formerly vowed to support them are now at a crossroads, trying your judgment as they vie for your attention. However, as Shakespeare's Julius Caesar illustrates, when even those closest to you may wield the sharpest knives, devotion born of need can rapidly turn into treachery. Trust turns into a battleground where every choice requires accuracy and planning. The wrong ally could end up being just as deadly as the one they left behind. However, this goes beyond just rearranging human ties. Forces bound to their ascent have been unleashed in their collapse. Once under their control, supernatural disturbances now escape. These untamed and capricious powers are unaware of the distinctions between the spiritual and physical realms. Now, suppressed energies are resurfacing in an attempt to regain their dominance or pay off old debts. Since these forces do not bargain, and their actions are neither random nor benign, you must be ready to face what they have unleashed. This turmoil is also evident in the natural world. Anomalies in the environment and inexplicable changes that ripple through the elements themselves are examples of signs that are impossible to ignore. As if the Earth is reacting to the imbalance brought forth by their collapse, what was previously stable now seems unsteady. These changes are simultaneously challenges, possibilities, and warnings. Your capacity to deal with a world that has been permanently changed is put to the test when the realms undergo change. Every choice you make will be a test of your determination. Cheers to you, the chosen one, the unstoppable force. They were unable to tame the uncontrollable wildfire. You are the quake that trembles foundations and the storm that rewrites the sky. Despite their attempts to imprison you, dull you, and halt your stride, limits bend before you. Rules do not constrain you. Your radiance scorches, not fades. Your stillness is the calm before your roar, not a retreat. Uncompromising, unrivaled, and indestructible. You climb above them, creating a legacy from turmoil and resilience from ruins, while they struggle in the everyday. Every obstacle you have overcome is a crown they will never understand. You exist to fulfill destiny's mission. You don't aim for praise or acceptance. You've always been that way. It's ingrained in you. For icons such as yourself, there is a movement of soul and supremacy, the world of chosen ones, and the obsidian inner order. Over 450 chosen ones get together for weekly group calls that create empowerment and revelation paths, all of which are documented for your eternal ascent. Our private Discord is a vortex of ideas, innovations, and unwavering chosen energy rather than merely a place. Chosen Singles is where fate combines under celestial orchestration, not ephemeral words, for individuals looking for cosmic relationships. Additionally, the Star Chamber provides the elite with unvarnished realities from survivors of unthinkable, unique information that is too harsh for public forums. This is your awakening, not a network. In the description, the gateway is waiting for you. If you're cut out for this, go ahead. You already know where to start. Their demise is evidence of one unchangeable fact. Despite their seeming might, their foundation was weak and their strength was hollow. They gave off the appearance of invincibility, but this was really a flimsy facade that would break under pressure. You need to learn this lesson. Grandeur based on lies, manipulation, or conceit isn't greatness at all. It is a house of cards that will collapse the instant truth blows through like a merciless wind. To you, their demise serves as a warning. You must always steer clear of the pitfalls they created, which include arrogance, complacency, and reliance on shaky connections. Clarity is your weapon, and vigilance is your armor. Keep an eye out for the flaws in your own foundation, since the seeds of failure are planted in the ease of unbridled success, rather than in chaotic situations. Influence without integrity and power without purpose are the foundations of ruin, and they are a sobering reminder that your course must be clear and deliberate. This is not only about avoiding things, it's also about creating them. Their failure serves as a reminder of the importance of creating a lasting legacy. The durability of what you leave behind, a legacy built on truth, strengthened by deeds that are in line with your purpose, and maintained by the faith of those who walk with you, is what really embodies strength, not short-lived triumphs. Long after empires of deceit have crumbled, this is what remains. Their downfall offers a chance to reinterpret what power really is and how it ought to be used, in addition to serving as a warning. The burden of rebuilding after their collapse is mostly on your shoulders. Creating something greater, something impervious to the corruption that formerly ruled, is the goal here, not just recovering what was lost. Restoring order requires accuracy and planning, making sure that the structures you put in place don't replicate the oppressive cycles that gave birth to tyranny. You are not here to copy their strategies. Rather, you are here to disrupt them, to tear down the control structure and replace it with fairness and purpose. Empowerment, not dominance, is the foundation of true leadership. It is your responsibility to empower people to take charge of their own lives and build a community where stability is a continuous reality rather than a passing dream. The systems you create need to be protected against internal decay, as well as external dangers. This calls for vision in addition to structure. You must create a future where there is no room for tyranny to return and where fear does not exist. They probably think they are justified from their point of view. They believe that their acts were essential and a means to a goal, even if that aim included the sacrifice of others, whether out of desperation or hubris. Were they misled by their desire for power, or were they really bad, molded by false beliefs? When power becomes the objective, the distinction between ambition and malice becomes hazy, and they made a decision that would ultimately lead to their demise because of their blindness. They failed to account for the cost to themselves as much as to those they aimed to control. The truth of their demise would have been unavoidable in their last moments. Were they defiant, holding on to the delusion of their invulnerability, believing that the world was unfair to them for taking away their empire? Or did remorse creep in, a sour recognition of the lives they ruined and the bridges they destroyed in the sake of short-lived power? Maybe there was a silent understanding that their acts had caused these effects to occur, a resignation. Regardless, matter how they felt, it was the last chapter of a tale they were no longer in charge of. However, their legacy endures. It serves as a warning about what happens when power corrupts without responsibility and a shadow over the future. When they collapse, the instability they leave behind doesn't go away. Instead, it provides the fertile ground for other battles. Here's where you step in, not to continue their legacy, but to completely destroy it, so that what they created doesn't serve as the basis for another despotism. Their failure serves as a warning and a mirror. What you do will determine whether it ends or begins. The effect is quick, harsh, and devastating when their hold finally breaks. The responses of those they ruled over are as diverse as the individuals themselves. Some people have an overpowering sensation of relief, as if they were holding a breath they were unaware of. Others react to the abrupt breakdown with confusion and apprehension, wondering what will emerge to take the place of the authority they previously dreaded. There are those who are afraid of the unknown, and if the world will be any better after they fall, not of freedom. This is similar to the chaos in Les Miserables, when the overthrow of repressive structures causes the oppressed to experience both optimism and unrest. The fall of those in positions of authority gives the downtrodden more courage to rise. However, the chaos that results from the lack of order puts their fortitude and will to the test. As they learn to use the freedom they fought for, their liberation presents both opportunities and challenges. New aspirations start to germinate in the voids created by their rule. Those who were imprisoned start to push the limits of their newly discovered freedom, while those who were mute now discover their voices. With the awareness that the rules they followed were illusions designed to keep them tiny, hope does not rise timidly. Rather, it surges. However, optimism is accompanied with duty, and the newly freed are burdened with the burden of what lies ahead. Winning increases the tension among people who supported you, not lessens it. Celebrations blend with arguments as the subject of credit becomes inescapable. Whose tactic made the difference? Whose sacrifice made the victory possible? Every voice aspires to be heard, not only for pride, but also to establish their place in the future. While unity may be created via triumph, ambition is also exposed, and now it is impossible to escape. They rejoice, yet there's still uncertainty. Can they rely on you to take charge and manage the mayhem that follows this victory? They wonder whether you have the clarity to exercise the authority this time requires, and if your vision coincides with theirs. Your leadership is put to the test with every choice you make and every word you say. The fact that you guided them through the conflict is insufficient. They must see that you can guide them through the aftermath. However, when the dust settles, something darker and hidden intentions start to show through. Not everyone who supported you had the same goal in mind. Some, whose intentions are hidden under guises of allegiance, view this as their chance to get what they have long coveted. These are not openly hostile adversaries. Rather, they are clandestine members of the camp whose actual motivations are only exposed when it suits them. It is not only your responsibility to lead. It is also your responsibility to distinguish between opportunistic and real relationships. Here's where the real fight starts. Winning is the catalyst for what comes next, not the finish.